Alright, in this video we're going to take a look at the deck that I've built for the normal rare festival that's coming up in Master Duel in the next coming days. This is the first festival or event, you could say, that I'm really excited for in Master Duel. Not because of the rewards, we all know they're not really as appealing as in other games maybe, but just because of the fact that you have to build a deck from scratch. A lot of the decks that you know from regular TCG Master Duel format, you just can't play them. You really have to think about Yu-Gi-Oh! In a completely new way. So that's what I really like. I like this sort of problem solving where you have to come up with a completely new strategy that maybe no one else is playing. And it really makes for a lot of innovation. So that's what's fun to me in the game. And I want to give you a rundown of my thought process, like how I started building this deck before we get into the game plan and so on. But this is the deck that I've come up with. I want to give a quick rundown of how this deck even got to exist in the first place. My first impression was that I want to find the most generic good cards that are normal or rare and then basically build decks around them. One of the cards I found was Omni Dragon Bro Tour. At first, and I thought this card was pretty cool for the normal and rare sport, so I wanted to build a dragon deck, a generic dragon deck, sort of like the Dragon Link deck in TCG and Master Duel. But the only card that basically made the cut after all was Hieratic Dragon Tefnoid, which why we play this card I'll go over in just a moment, but this was the only card that basically survived from the Dragon Bunch. We play other dragons, but not the dragons you maybe know of, because in the process of searching for good dragons, I found Odai's Vortex Dragon. And Odai's Vortex Dragon, I think, is one of the strongest cards in the normal rare event in general, because it is one of the only Omni Negates I think you can play in this format. And this card is really easily made with Odai's Absolute Dragon, which says if it's sent to the grave by any way, it doesn't matter how, just it had to be Exceed summoned, of course. You can special summon one Odai's monster from your extra deck, so you can special summon the Odai's Vortex Dragon, basically cheat it out. You don't have to fusion summon it. So all you have to do is make this card, and this just needs 2 level 7 monsters. So this is where the theory of the deck kicks in. We go second with this deck every game, because we have a lot of cards that interact well, or maybe not a lot, but we have a few cards, enough cards to warrant going second. Let me talk about one of the interactions that this deck has that I found really neat, and that I wanted to build this deck around. Hieratic Dragon of Tefnoid, you can special summon it if your opponent controls monsters, and only your opponent, so it's like a Cyber Dragon. And when it's tributed, you special summon one dragon normal monster from your hand, deck, or grave, but make it attack 0 defense. So what I thought, this is a really cool card if you can tribute it to summon out a level 7 monster and make Odai's Absolute Dragon. I found a card that works really well with it, which is Odai's Saber Dragon. If this card is in your hand, you can tribute a light monster, send one Odai's Dragon from your hand, deck, or side of the field to the grave, special summon this card. When this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the grave, you can destroy one monster your opponent controls, basically in addition to the monster you destroyed by battle. In return for playing one brick, which is the Odai's Dragon, which it's not really a brick in that sense, we'll get to that also when we talk about the Pendulum cards, you get to play this card, which tributes the Hieratic Dragon of Tefnoid, which the Hieratic Dragon of Tefnoid summons out Serpent Knight Dragon, which is a generic level 7 dragon. And with those two, you make Odai's Absolute Dragon, and basically you use any other monster to link into the Odai's Vortex Dragon. That's the main game plan, you could say. We play a lot of cards to make this whole thing work more consistently, you could say. So what this ended up being is a level 7 Dragon Pendulum deck. Why the Pendulums, you might ask? Well, what if we don't draw Hieratic Dragon of Tefnoid, but we only draw the Odai's Saber Dragon? What do we do then? Well, we just Pendulum it out with any of the other level 7 Dragon monsters, or not Dragon monsters, that we play. Noctovision being one of them. Noctovision, you can link it off as well if you have more than 2 level 7 monsters on the board, and use it to draw an additional card. But you can also Pendulum it out and just use it to make the Odai's Absolute Dragon. Odai's Wizard Dragon is more or less the counterpart to the Odai's Saber Dragon, where you attribute a dark monster instead of a light monster, but if this card is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, you can special summon an Odai's monster from your deck or grave. You can also summon the Odai's Vortex Dragon if you've already used this, or the Odai's Absolute Dragon, so it's a really, really good card, and one of the best in the deck in my opinion. We can also summon out Vishuddha, which I think is just a generic, really good going second card, but it's limited in the normal rare format. And the Odai's Dragon, which this is also a level 7 monster. We also have other ways to make level 7 monsters, one of them being summoning Harmonizing Magician from our hand, Pendulum summoning this card, special summoning out a Time Gazer Magician from the deck, and making a level 7 synchro, the Odai's Meteor Burst Dragon. The Odai's Meteor Burst Dragon is nice because this special summons a Pendulum monster from your Pendulum zone to the field. We also play 3 Supreme King Gate 0 and 3 Supreme King Gate Infinity. Those are level 7 monsters that you can summon out with the Meteor Burst Dragon, and basically, once again, a way to Absolute Dragon. So as you can see, the entire deck is focused around making Absolute Dragon going into Vortex Dragon. And then we just try to play the best Pendulum cards that are generically out there. Especially for the high scales, I struggle to find generic good cards. So the Odai's Mirage Dragon, there's not a specific reason we chose to play this one. This just has a funny effect where on the field, if it's a monster, while you have an Odai's card in your Pendulum zone, so for example itself, you can target an Odai's monster you control, so Vortex or Absolute Dragon, and then the first time it would be destroyed by battle or card effect is not destroyed that turn. I didn't find a really better high scale, so that is more or less the worst we play. We also played this card, Performable Coin Dragon. I found this randomly and I really like it. On the field, other dragon type monsters you control gain 500 attack. Also, they cannot be destroyed by card effects. This is clutch, honestly, because Vortex Dragon is obviously a dragon. Odai's Absolute Dragon is a dragon. All the Odai's monsters are dragons. We also play Aether, which is also a dragon monster, and this makes it so a whole bunch of people are playing Torrential Tribute in their deck from what I've seen. And if you Pendulum summon out Performable Coin Dragon with, let's say, a Noctovision and the Wizard Dragon and a Saber Dragon, or even the Aether, and they activate Torrential Tribute, or something like Bottomless Trap Hole is also something I've seen, only your Coin Dragon get destroyed because it protects on the field the other cards by card effect. You can push it over almost anything with the 500 attack boost, because these get over 3000 attack then. That's just really good in general. We also play Dark Worm. Dark Worm being a generic searcher in the deck, really good. We play 1 DD Proud Chevalier. You know, this doesn't really have a specific reason. I sort of saw this on par with the Kaiden Kendo Spirit, which are both just semi-generically good Pendulum monsters. When this card is normal summoned, you can add 1 face-up Dark Pendulum monster from your extra deck to the hand, so maybe a Dark Worm or an Aether or something. But you won't really normal summon this card because it's at level 5, of course. Once per turn in the Pendulum zone, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls. It loses 500 attack. So, you know, it's not too bad. It's just a really good generic effect. And then you can Kaiden Kendo Spirit. When this card is normal summoned, you can choose 1 card in your Pendulum zone and then send all cards to the grave your opponent controls in the same column as that card. So if your opponent ever plays card in the very left or very right column, you know, that's when this card becomes a little bit better, when it's normal summoned. And if a monster is Pendulum summoned while this is in the Pendulum zone, return this card from the Pendulum zone to the hand. So this is just also a generically good card. What I really like is Aether. I think this card is super broken in this format, because when this card is normal or special summoned, target a monster on the field, banish it. Oh my god, so simple but so good. When you go second and you just banish their stuff. I've seen a lot of people play Dragublion, or however it's called, and they make Hope, no, not Hope Harbinger, but the one that can't be destroyed by battle. It's a different level or rank 8 monster. Just banish it. It's really simple. I really like this card in the deck. Currently this has been overperforming for me. I definitely want to keep this in a 3. And then everything else we sort of talked about. Supreme King, Gate 0 and Gate Infinity, they're just low and high scales. Infinity is a bit annoying because you cannot Pendulum summon if you control a monster already. So you kind of have to be aware of that. But the reason I'm playing 3 of each is because the Gate 0 has the effect where if you have Infinity in the other Pendulum zone, you can destroy both of them and add a Polymerization or Fusion spell card from your deck to your hand. So I looked up all the Fusion cards, saw if there was any good. Pendulum Fusion. That's a pretty funny one. Fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters you control as fusion materials. Alright, normal poly. But if you have 2 cards in your Pendulum zones, you can use your Pendulum zones as fusion materials. So, Odai's Vortex is usually summoned by putting Odai's Absolute Dragon in the grave, but Odai's Vortex Dragon is also just a regular fusion monster. 1 Odai's monster plus 1 Pendulum monster. So you can use your Infinity and your 0 in the Pendulum zones and Pendulum or Fusion summon the Odai's Vortex Dragon. But you can also use the Odai's Mirage Dragon then in your Pendulum zones to Fusion summon. So basically just a searchable way to also get your Odai's Vortex Dragon out there. And then we play 3 Chalice because I thought that 3 Chalice is just really good. Also against Megalith versus Fool, which is the most annoying card, or Bether. It's really, really good. For the extra deck, let's talk about this. Obviously 2 Vortex Dragon, 3 Absolute Dragon. I feel like this is maybe not super necessary, but there aren't really any good other targets that you could play in this format anyway. One Meteor Burst Dragon. We also play one Dark Armed, the Dragon of Annihilation, I guess. It is just a spot removal. You can detach one material from this card and target a card your opponent controls, destroy it, then banish one card from your grave, but this cannot attack that turn. So spot removal in a format like this is amazing if you can just get it at will. This one, Odd Eyes Rebellion Dragon, don't really bother with it too much. It's not really the best. It's just an additional monster, I suppose, with 3000 attack. You know, who knows if that comes up. It doesn't really have the most useful effect. Clara and Drushka, there's no real reason to play any of these Link monsters really, except for Monk, because you play Vishuda. And the Track Black, I feel like, is kind of nice, where you can target a monster this points to, and then you draw a card when it destroys something by battle. I mean, Geonator can maybe sometimes come up, but you don't really have that many bodies to work with. And then just generic cards, I suppose, that you can link into with a reasonable attack stat. That's the deck. I think that was the most theory we ever put into a deck discussion or deck guide in like the theory part. I hope the theory kind of came across. If you have any thoughts on it, like I said, please leave it down in the comments. I want to see maybe how you guys develop this deck as well. I feel like it's really good. It has worked really well for me. I've already tested it versus people that also play a normal rare deck, and you know, I went probably like 7-1, 8-1, something like that. Let's actually play a few games and see how it works out. Something I want to bring up is I am interested in seeing whether or not people are gonna make you go first or second in this format. I feel like with Megalith being a good deck, Tenny being a good, I feel like going first is gonna be the way to go, more or less. But I know that the Time Lord deck is also a thing. I know that some decks want to go second, so it's going to be interesting. But the great thing is, if you play a going second deck, the decks are not powerful enough going first, or going second rather, if they make you go first, so that you can't come back. So you can basically just pass and then play your turn after that. So we open 2 Gate 0, a high scale, which is really nice, with Harmonizing, not too bad, and Odd Eyes Saber Dragon. So I suppose that we could basically scale this. We can try to play here going first as well. Scale this, scale the Gate 0, then Pendulum Summon all 3 cards from our hands. Yes. Special Summon this in defense, this in attack, so why not? And then summoning out the Harmonizing, and then Harmonizing can trigger, of course, and we can summon the Time Gazer, which the Time Gazer will be able to go into the Meteor Burst Dragon here, which I think that's what we're going to do. I mean, we can't Pendulum Summon on the following turn then, but, well, our follow-up is not going to be the very greatest. We at least have one monster now in the extra deck as well for the Vortex Dragon. It's also important. You also have to keep in mind that you have to get a monster in the extra deck for your Vortex Dragon to have a negate. I'm going to summon out the Gate 0 just because this allows us to go for the rank 7, the Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon. Let's actually go for that right here. Use this, and probably, yeah, I would use one of the Gate 0s. Keep the Odd Eyes Saber Dragon on the field, because it's not a bad card to have on the field in general. Then, right now, I would use the Gate 0 here and the Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon to go for the Track Black, because this will give us maybe some advantage on the following turn, and then use the Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon to get out our Omni Negate. I mean, it's not too bad of a board, I feel like. If we draw a low scale, we have some follow-up, we can summon something out on the following turn. We have 2 bodies that they have to go over that are not too easy to go over. We have an Omni Negate, so I like it in general. They special summon a Backup Secretary. Interesting. I think there's a rare or common Link monster that needs to have exactly Backup Secretary as Link material. Maybe they're playing something like this, some Cyber Stack or something. Oh, Cyber's Wicked, of course. That's a really good card, yeah. And Exceed is actually a common card. Yeah, that makes sense. Alright, that's pretty cool. You know, I think I just want to negate this, honestly. Because if they don't have an extender, they can't do anything else. Let us just negate that. Maybe that's bad. But in a format where you don't really know the decks, and usually when decks have really low power ceilings, negating the first card you see is not too bad of a choice most of the time. Alright, so we negate the Parallel Exceed. Let's see if they have an extender. They do! Oh my god, they have an extender. You can banish one Cybers monster from your grave, special summon this card. Dude, the Cybers, they also always had so many extenders and so many good cards in their archetype, or their type, I guess you can say in general. This card is sent to the grave as a link summon of a Cybers monster as material. You can target one banished monster, shuffle it into the deck. Alright, not too bad, not too bad. What did they add? They added Diameter. Alright, so that means they actually play Mathmech. And Mathmech, I don't know how many cards are super rares from there. I guess the Exceed monsters are going to be super rares for the most cards, because those are really powerful. I think mostly it would have been obvious that those cards would have been really good in this format. But I haven't seen the Mathmech deck being discussed anywhere, so it's going to be interesting to see. Once per turn, you contribute one monster discard points to target a monster your opponent controls, destroy it. Alright, not too bad, not too bad. Since when do we have like question marks here? Is that new? I feel like that's new. What's at the start of the damage step? When this card battles a face-up monster that is not a Link 3 or higher Link monster, destroy that monster. Wow, this is a really good card, to be honest. It's a really good card. What do we have? I mean, we could just go for triple burst, I suppose. Yeah, I guess we could just go for triple burst, right? And just attack this and hope that they don't have anything good to follow it up with. Could also go for Berserker of the Tenyi, but triple burst during the main phase of turn. This was special summon. You contribute this card, target a Link 2 or lower monster in your grave, special summon it. Then you can special summon a level 4 lower dragon monster from your hand. No, I think that actually going for the 3k beater might be a bit better. Let's actually do this. Bit of a weird scenario, and honestly pretty scary that this comes up in the first game that we play, but yeah, let's go for this and then go to the battle phase, attack this. Exactly. And then just pass. I mean, I feel like that's how the normal rare festival is going to look like in general, right? The games you're going to play are just going to be back and forth, where you just summon one monster, they summon a monster. You both are sort of on top deck mode most of the time. And you just hope to draw extenders. Exactly, you see they just set up card and pass. Let's see, we draw Chalice. So Chalice is nice because it just stops one of their monsters. So that's never too bad. As soon as we draw a low scale, I think... yeah, our hand just becomes a lot better because then we can extend as well. We can summon the gate 0 from the graveyard, from the extra deck as well. Let's set the Chalice here. Go for the end phase. And we already put them on a clock, right? They're on 2 turns. If they don't draw anything, if they don't top deck anything in the next 2 turns, they're gonna lose. But I think it's really interesting that I like the Cyber deck that they're trying to play. I don't know if it's really that good, if it's viable. But I'm really excited to see... during the event. Alright, another Tefnut. It's not too good, we can't do anything with it. Alright, let's go battle phase. Attack this. And let's see what this is. This is a Mathmech multiplication. But the Diameter now can summon this back in theory. So I guess that's what they're gonna do on their turn. They're gonna use or normal summon the Diameter, get back the multiplication, but we're gonna negate the Diameter and hope that they don't have anything else. Okay, so we're going to negate this, of course. If they didn't have any extender in the last turn, they're not going to have an extender this turn. So it doesn't really make sense not to negate this. I think we were kind of unlucky as well with the double Tefnut, to be honest. So we can destroy this by battle. And then I know that Cybers also plays a lot of Link 1 monsters. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not they can link this off. But apparently they can't. I mean, a lot of them are probably super rares. I feel like Linger Rebo is one of them, maybe, that you can't play. Alright, this is a high scale. It doesn't do anything for us in this case as well. For 2 reasons. First of all, we control a monster, so we can't Pendulum summon anything. But we also cannot even scale this up and summon something, because obviously it's double high scale. So it's just going to be our Berserker of the Tenyi beatdown, I suppose. But that's already 2000 damage more. If they don't draw anything next turn, they basically lose. That is also sort of the trade-off we have to make for the deck, or the build that is currently... you know, that we're currently running with this version. Is I feel like we just go second and we want to OTK. If we don't kill them on our first turn, or if we have to go first and make a board, it becomes a bit more awkward because of Infinity, exactly. And then, yeah, as you can see, a lot of your top decks, they're not the best. So I guess that's something we could work on with the deck. Maybe make it more versatile in that regard, and also make it have a bit better follow-up. But against this it worked, but I don't know if that's how it's gonna work in general. Alright, let's see if they're gonna make us go first again, or if we can choose this time. Nice, we can choose. Alright, let's go second. Let's see if our deck is able to do what it's supposed to do. You know, it's so funny to build a deck just from scratch. I feel like that's the most, it's the most fun I've had deck building in a while. Honestly, since I've built a Thunder deck probably 2 months ago. So, oh my god, this is so unlucky. Why do we draw both Time Gazer? We already played 2 just in case we draw 1. I mean, at least it's a scale, and we have a high scale as well. This becomes a 4 scale if you don't have an Odd Eyes or Magician card in your other scale. Which this obviously isn't, so... And we have the combo, more or less, right? So, I guess it's kind of cool. So that works. If they summon a monster, we can summon the Tefnoid and then use the Odd Saber Dragon. Also, if we top deck any level 7 monster, we can Pendulum summon that out too. It's not too bad. We can also normal summon the Time Gazer in combination with these 2. Alright, but they just pass. That doesn't even matter, honestly, because we can scale this up. Then scale the Kaiden Kendo Spirit. Kaiden Kendo Spirit, that's what it's called. Pendulum summon the Tefnuit. Yes, Pendulum summon that out. I mean, we wouldn't have OTK, right? Maybe that would have been a better way to play this now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe we could have summoned out the Saber Dragon as well with the Pendulum summon, then return the Kendo Spirit, normal summon the Kendo Spirit over the Tefnoid, summon out the level 7, and then go for something, but maybe it just doesn't matter. Maybe this also gives us better follow-up because we don't have to use the Kendo Spirit now. Alright, we tribute the Tefnoid as always, and then we summon out the Saber Dragon by sending the Odd Eyes Dragon. The Odd Eyes Dragon is of course a brick, and you can't only use basically the Wizard Dragon or the Saber Dragon once, because then your Odd Eyes Dragon is in the grave, unless you summon it back with your Absolute Dragon, which is also an option. Not an opportunity, it's an option. That works as well, but you know, you don't really want to play more of the Odd Eyes Dragon because it's not really that good of a card. Right, so we can once again go into the Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon. Because we go second, we can also use the effect to summon back the Odd Eyes Saber Dragon. Yes, let us also normal summon the Time Gazer now. And then go for the battle phase. Attack with Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon. Use the effect. Get back the Odd Eyes Saber Dragon. Sometimes you get into a game state, is also what I've experienced, where the Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon is, you know, honestly almost better to keep on the field. To just summon back out monsters. Or to keep summoning back out monsters every single turn, right? So Time Gazer Magician attack. So also nice, neat effect. Time Gazer Magician, when you attack with a Pendulum monster, I feel like. Or, yeah, with a Pendulum monster. Your opponent cannot activate trap cards until the end of the damage step. So it's a nice little side effect. So you can't get like lost winded in the damage step, which is something I have experienced as well. Let's go into the main phase 2 and then go for the Track Black, I feel. Yeah, Track Black. And then use the Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon and summon out the Vortex Dragon. We also have Time Gazer, so we have a Pendulum monster in the extra deck to use it as a negate for the Vortex Dragon, which is really nice. Yes, summon that out. We summon it in the zone of the Track Black. We set the Chalice. Damn, this feels... This feels like a really good board almost. We have 2 interruptions. In this format, it's really a lot, to be honest. So they summon, or not summon, but they draw a card, 6th card. Let's see, maybe they also play a Go in Second deck. And maybe Go in Second decks are more viable or more popular than I thought, right? Kaiju cards, of course, right? They play the Kaiju field spell, probably meaning they play a lot of Kaijus, but... Would they activate this first if they already had a Kaiju? Because that is the deciding factor of whether or not I will activate the Vortex here. Because if they already have a Kaiju, you just want to use this negate as quickly as possible. But if they activate this, they would have used the Kaiju first, right? They wouldn't have just activated this and have a Kaiju in hand because they know I can negate this. But if this card would be destroyed by card effect, you can remove one kaiju counter from it instead. So I feel like we have to negate it, because otherwise it just doesn't get this, like, you just can't remove it anymore, and it becomes very annoying to deal with. This card is very, very strong in general, I feel like. Not only in this format, but in the TCG and Master Duel format in general. So rather just get rid of it immediately. But if they don't have kaijus in hand, what place do they have? Shining Angel. Special summons a light monster with 1500 or less attack from the deck. Interesting, to say the least. I don't know what they're going to get with this. They're only on 4000 life points as well. They're going to attack the Vortex Dragon, but why? They have something in the damage step, I suppose. What are they doing? Why did they attack into this? Did they think that their monster dies or something? Well. Alright, guys. Not all the replays are going to be used for the best lessons to learn, right? I guess that was just more like solo mode. Alright, here are my final thoughts. Is this deck going to be one of the best decks? I have no idea, because I don't know what other people are going to choose to play. I want to go into the deck building process with as little bias as possible, so I didn't really look into any other deck building, deck builds in the format. I know that Metal First is really good, Megalith is really good, and I feel like Zombies are maybe also not going to be too bad. But you have nothing to lose. Build this deck for yourself, try it out, improve it, and then comment under the video what you changed up. Right, that's it. I hope you loved the video. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I will see you in the next one very soon.